I don't know what I'm doing actually. I'm really happy that my boss is working for me, but I work very hard.
I work very hard, is that what you said?
I work super hard.
So we met at the dog park. People didn't understand why Laura estaba.
Do you have a favorite guest?
I probably do. I can even share.
Welcome to Unfiltered with Silvia, the podcast from Nine Coliving. Dive into the nomad life and explore Tenerife. Connect with our amazing community and enjoy the local island vibe. Expect honest conversations and unexpected questions. Stay curious, stay unfiltered. Let's start. I don't know what I'm doing actually. Let's start the podcast with no name yet. Right?
Yes, let's do it. Excited.
Yeah. Anne.
Yes.
First, I want to start let's say why a podcast, why we are doing this, and then what we are gonna do here, and then we'll see.
Yes.
So, Anne, why a podcast? Why are you making me this? Why I'm doing this?
Yes. Why a podcast? Good question. So first of all, it's funny to know that you don't actually listen to podcasts, which I didn't realize. I thought the whole world was listening to podcasts. I listen to podcasts a lot. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy it, especially when it's just like conversations between people that are not too curated. They're just kind of like going with the flow and that are very just like interesting, but also casual, right? So people just talking about life. And I feel like we have a lot of very interesting people here at Nine always. And you are just really, really funny. And so the reason why I asked Silvia to do a podcast is because I feel like you're so unfiltered. And the conversations we have at Nine or that you have with people are so authentic and people share with you so much because you have this way of getting answers from people that they, by being really like unfiltered and getting away with it because of your character, like the combination of being really direct and really bold, but also so sweet that people like kind of feel like they can share anything with you. So I thought that would be really fun to have some interesting characters in and around Nine talking to you and having some great conversations on a podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm here only the first episode. Yeah. And after that, we're bringing some interesting people, probably guests from Nine, maybe some people that work or have worked at Nine, people from the island.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the idea itself, so all of you can understand what we are going to do, what's going to be like the topics and the structure a little bit. So let me first start the structure. It will be always like an intro, like who are we talking today with? Today it's Anne. But then it's really important. All of you, if you will become an interview, should bring me a gift. It's very important. Anne didn't do a good job. She didn't bring me any gift.
So I brought you sweets.
Yeah,
left over from a birthday party last night, to be honest. But we like to recycle at Nine, honestly. Mm-hmm. And I brought you a barraquito, or you have a cappuccino. So I think I did pretty well, honestly. What else do you want at like 11 in the morning?
Let's see. I will do a ranking of the best gifts that people bring, and then we'll see what's the ranking.
Great.
We want to do 9 episodes, so we will have 9 chances to have better gifts. It's good to start good. I like cake with fruit, with chocolate. I like coffee. It's a good start. Could be worse, better, but it's a good start. So first it's gonna be like the intro. We are talking with Anne, the gift, and then we will go always with 9 rapid fire, and then we will always we'll do a ranking of the interview. How did you feel? If it's a good one or not.
Right.
Okay.
I'm ready. Let's do it. It's scary now to be the first, but
and I'm sorry.
It only makes sense.
Apologize me if the questions are a bit hard sometimes.
Okay. Well, we know Silvia. That is why we want to do this as well. So I guess I have to be exposed to this then as well, right? I cannot escape.
And we are friends, so I am.
Yeah.
Anne, let's start. As I said, how did we meet?
Let's start with the gift, no?
Yes.
And enjoy this, because otherwise it will be cold. And
I'm gonna try this cake.
There's 2 cakes.
Okay, explain me.
that I brought that were yesterday part of a birthday party at 9.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some kind of chocolate cookie combination, cookie and cream and chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
and a nice cheesecake.
Thank you.
I already know what my favorite is, but I'm wondering to hear what you like the most. I know you love chocolate, but
Mm-hmm.
this cheesecake is pretty good, so give it a try.
Between these two, I like more the cheesecake.
Right? Yeah, it's good, huh?
Yeah.
I love it too.
So that's a taste. I cannot really give you more opinion about this because you didn't make it. Right?
I
But
didn't even buy it, to be honest.
you didn't even buy
I just
it.
got it from the share.
But thank you, and it's very sweet from you.
But
And I'm really happy that my boss is working for me. For me,
exactly.
she brought me the cake, the coffee,
Mm-hmm.
but I work very hard. So,
I work very hard. Is that what you said?
I work super hard.
Love it.
Anne, do you want to share your version? Like you?
Yeah. I think we have two different versions of
Yeah.
of how we met. I mean, obviously I think we both have our own version, but in the end, what happened was pretty funny but clear, right? So we met at the dog park.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved here, after a month and a half, I got Lara from the shelter here.
Mm-hmm.
She was super sweet, but very high energy. And I would take her every day lunch break to the dog park here.
Of course, because you're Dutch and you have this.
I was also just building a business here, hello, and very busy. And I would walk her every morning and then take her to the dog park, bark for an hour during lunch, and then walk her in the afternoon. And during lunch, that was really she could play, but I could also rest a little bit. So I would take her and she could play with other dogs. And one day I remember meeting you because your dog, Lola, kept bringing me a ball and she kept jumping on the bench with me and I think dropping the ball right next to me or giving me the ball. And so we started playing a little bit. And then actually Lara and Lola also started playing, which is funny because Lara usually doesn't really like tiny dogs so much. And Lola's really small. So it was really funny, and they started playing with the ball, and that's how we got to chat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I remember, exactly the same. I went to the dog park, but for me it was very random going there. And Lola, indeed, what I felt it was like, oh, there's this girl. She looks super smart. She was reading a book, like a movie, right? Like the blonde girl reading a book, very quiet. And I was super messy, like, Lola, come here, Lola.
Which is funny because I probably read a book in that park twice, that's...
Yeah, but you were reading a book. I was like, shit, my dog, it's so... But of course you were super polite, like, no worries. And then we started talking a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I noticed that you really liked to practice English, because...
because I was living abroad before, and I in Berlin, and I also knew the feel. I miss a little bit this vibe of people from other countries when you bring a different mindset and fresh. I needed some fresh people in my life as well, and I wanted to practice English. And I don't know, I saw you alone there reading a book.
And then she was asking me where I was from and what I was doing here. And then I guess when I started explaining that I lived in Lauratava, starting a business, at the time, most people, when I would say that I was living in Lauratava, people didn't understand why Lauratava, right? I feel like now it's very almost obvious how pretty it is and how good it is for especially digital nomads, but even tourists. But at the time, people were always like, but why? Why are you not in the south, or why are you not at least in Puerto La Cruz? I think you were also intrigued that I was doing this in Lauratava, where you're from. And then what I remember is that you said, are you here? Because this was maybe a Saturday during lunch, and you were like, are you also going to be here next Saturday around lunchtime, you know? And I was like, yeah, probably. And then you said, let's meet up. And I was like, okay. We didn't exchange numbers, anything. We just said maybe next Saturday at 12 we'll both be here again. And I really didn't expect. I really didn't expect you to be there, but I went because I was like, well, you never know if you showed up, and I always went anyway around
Like
that
a date.
time.
No, love story.
Yeah, and surprisingly, you showed up with a friend and Herman, your partner, and I think you had like 10 minutes, so you really came for me because you came and you also had to go. But that's when we exchanged numbers and we made a plan for me to come hang out with your friends and go do some kayaking and also hunt it. And that was like our first date outside of the dog park and how we became friends, which was really nice. And for me, mostly just very endearing that you came back to see me with like your busy life, with your friend and your partner, just to say hi to me and get my contact and make plans. And super good experience for me as a foreigner with like someone local, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how we became friends. So
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, and I always say everyone, like, for me, before working at Nine, I was also coming here as a friend of you.
Yes.
So I came to Nine. Well, first when the house was empty, that you showed me the house, I was like, 9 rooms. No, I was like, hey, that house is for you. And then you explained me the concept that I think I got 2 years later, but that's okay. And I came here for a New Year's Eve. I think when Ben and Fabiana were working here with you as a volunteer. And I came many times as your friend. And
so with Lola, you would pass by, and then Lola and Lara would play on the roof together here. I remember a lot at sunset.
And I never thought of working here with you, but then
then things changed.
And we are.
So I'm just wondering from your point of view, like when I was kind of like, okay, I'm never going to see this girl next Saturday. Like, what was your reason to come back? Was it really in your head of like, oh, I have this appointment with this girl, or like, was it like, how did that go? I don't
really remember because you know my memory for the past is very bad. It's the opposite as you. Anne, yeah, she has a really good memory for the things that happened in the past, but not what she has to do tomorrow. I'm the opposite.
Yes, I need reminders a lot.
So you get to know a little bit, Anne.
That's good.
But no, I do remember I really had a good feeling about you. And I remember I came back home talking Herman, my partner, about you. Like, hey, I met this girl. She looks super cool. And I remember I really, and he was very open as well. And
do you remember who the friend was you had with you? I don't know if I remember.
I think it was Edu and...
No, it was a girl. It was Herman and a girl.
No, then I don't.
No, maybe it was even Anna.
Anna?
You know, Anna. No, what's her name?
Laura.
Laurita.
I don't know. It's weird, but it could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah,
that's how we met.
This started. Yeah.
So many people ask us like, and I think it's a really beautiful story to share. Yeah. Maybe with other people it's not that nice, but with Anne it's a great starting. And now I would like to go with the interview itself, with the questions, because many people, of course, knows about you.
Had this coffee before.
Yeah, and breathe.
Yes. Oh my God. No.
No, but you have also been like in other interviews, and people knows a lot about you. As Anne, founder of Nine, Anne, mom of Lara, Anne, the Dutch girl who lives on the island. But I want to ask some questions maybe they don't dare asking. The first one actually came from Rebecca because she do listen a podcast and she told me they are very random. And the first one is, Anne, when was the last time you cried?
Oh, oof.
When? I cried yesterday.
I don't cry a lot, so I have to dig deep. I do know. Oh, yeah, okay. This is about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, this is quite a deep question, and right away.
Well, you don't have to give all the details.
No, it's okay. I mean, do I really care? I guess I will check with PG if he's okay with this. But this was actually on the phone with my boyfriend. And the little... no, so this was actually all on me. That's why I'm not afraid to share. I really brought this up on myself. Our problem sometimes is that I'm not fluent in Spanish, and he is native, like Venezuelan, so he speaks Spanish. And then over the phone, especially when we text, he can be very short and without any like commas or you know. So it's just like blah, 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 blah. And I have to kind of puzzle a little bit, like, what does he mean? And it's fine, actually, never really is an issue, except when we make plans for like when we see each other. And this happened as well, that I interpreted something very like different than it actually was, and kind of got out of the messages like that I was like, I don't know, fifth choice or something on the list of when we're, you know. And in the end, that was not the case at all. So we had a phone call and I cried a lot, and I felt mostly guilty for like making this drama that was actually really not meant at all like this. And if I read back to the messages, I could also understand how I would have read it, but at that moment, sometimes I go back and I just cannot. So with Spanish, it's still like I speak well Spanish, but it's not always the easiest, right? Especially when it's like about these topics. So yeah, I guess that was the last. I cried really hard. I had to hang up the phone and tell him to call back a few minutes.
Well, some days we are more emotional. Yesterday I cried. I was super emotional yesterday, and I was just seeing some pictures, and I saw one picture of Gara, my baby, a year ago, and from a few months ago, it was like, the time goes so fast, but sometimes very slow, and look how big she is, and then I'm scared of life, and then I started crying yesterday.
So I was
getting ready for this question.
Yes, you know,
I was like, let me say.
I don't cry a lot, very little actually, and when I cry, it's very often more like that I tear up for beautiful things, you know. So I have more that I, like cry, or more tear up, cry for like a beautiful sunset, or that I just realize like how fucking beautiful is my life, or you know, those things, rather than crying because I'm sad or anxious. Or so this definitely happened, but it doesn't happen a lot.
So, well, it's okay. We need to.
Yeah, no, it's good, no?
Okay, second question. No, not that hard, but it's still okay. Which superpower would you choose if you can choose one superpower, like flying or being in different places at the same time? Or
I think then maybe what I have, based on like also what we just discussed, I would maybe have the superpower to speak any language.
That's a good one.
Also, like sign language, and just like whenever I meet someone with like a random accent or a very like unknown language to me, that I would just be fluent, but also like fluent.
That's super cool, eh?
Yeah, I think that'd be super nice.
I like it.
And then I would never have these issues of not understanding people. You know
what?
And also then you can always listen to what people are saying when people think they're, you know, no one can hear it.
Yeah. I remember once I was in Berlin, and I don't know why I assumed no one would understand Spanish, and some friends came to visit to me, and we were on the train, and we started talking like about sex, about the dicks, and about everything. And suddenly I was talking to them, but super open and like very crazy. And I looked at the guy, and he was like with this,
trying not to laugh.
And I was like, do you speak Spanish? He was like, yes. Shit.
That's funny. Yeah.
Sometimes, it's really good to learn and to know many languages.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, next question. Let's keep, because I have some. Okay, what skill you don't have, but you do like admiring others and you would like to have?
Yes, well, this is a skill you have that I really don't have, and we've talked about this many times. To have like the patience to dig into like very small details, especially when it's on the computer. For example, the finances, you know, I just don't have the patience for it. But I should be way more knowledgeable and like on top of all these things, right? Of like how the finances are actually going. Luckily, I have you for this, but it would be great if I had I think it's not like that I don't have the skill to do it. It's just the patience and the motivation that I lack sometimes in these things. I I probably have, I don't know how many emails that I haven't like replied to
Yeah.
for so long.
I told you
Because-
many times.
because I just cannot find the motivation to do this. So like, administrational tasks and finance tasks and things like that, they're actually really important. I wish I had more incentive and motivation and patience to really dig into them. And you're really good at that. You can really like take your time as well to understand and to find the answers to why we don't have this email or where this money comes from. And when you send me a message like, do you know where this comes from? I'm already looking at it, I'm like, oh no, I don't know, and I don't want to know, and I don't want to find out.
Silvia, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 1 a month. I send you this message every time.
Yeah. So
But
I'm
also,
so happy when I find them quite quick, because I just know how much it annoys me if it's like a puzzle, you know.
Yeah, but that's why we are a good team. Like I also told you, like you have a skill that I would love to have because I feel so useless, and it's like I'm not handy. And of course, maybe if I have a lot of time, also maybe I think it comes from the really childhood. Like it's like cycling a bike, no, not cycling, riding a bike. You learn it or you don't learn it, and I was never there, and I'm not handy. But when I get something fixed, I'm like, today I'm
on
the
top
best
of the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, now a very random question. If you have to choose between dying with water, like under the sea, or with fire, which one would you choose?
Water.
Water.
Yeah. I mean, both sound horrible.
Yeah, they're horrible.
But
And really bad.
I think I would still pick water just because I'm such a water baby and I love the ocean that like I would pick to be in the ocean then, I guess.
Most of the people I ask this, because I also ask this to people here at night, they say water. And for me, I think I have something, because every time I think dying in the water, I get very, 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 very scared. Even though I know the fire is horrible, but I always feel like, okay, if I'm on fire, then I jump. Like into the
but
bridge,
the question is dying, so you cannot escape, right? Otherwise, the question is not almost dying. No.
Yeah.
There's no.
It's very stressful. Think about it. Think about it.
Let us know in the comments what you would pick.
Please, I'm really curious to know. Okay.
Now, next time I will be surfing or swimming, I'll be like thinking about this. When I finish this, one thing you should know about me is I love coffee only when it's a barraquito, but also when it's really hot.
And she loved coffee since a few years ago.
So this is also her fault.
Yeah.
That's a funny little story. So basically, on this island, you have this coffee. Most of you maybe know if you've been here. It's called the barraquito. And it is this hot, liquid, sweet dessert almost of leche condensada, so sweet condensed milk, coffee. If you want, there's some licor 43 in there, liquor 43. Milk, and then they put cinnamon and a bit of lime or lemon zest on top. And I never drank coffee. I hated it, and I'm still not a big fan of just coffee. And then when you arrived here, did like a little coffee break with people and said like, if you want to try this local coffee, come with me. And my dad was here at the moment, so we said let's go together with a group. And you kind of made me try one, and I was like, well, I know I'm not gonna like it. It's kind of like with beer. Anything that people are like, yeah, but this is beer with lemon. No, I don't like beer. I hate it. So with coffee, I thought the same. It was like, you can give me this, but I'm not gonna like it. I actually loved it, and since then I'm addicted to barraquitos, which is not great because it's not only coffee, it's also sugar and sometimes alcohol. But I have 1 or 2 a day now without alcohol. I don't have 2 with alcohol a day, but but I like them really hot, and when they get too cold too soon, I'm over it. So that's why I need to drink it now before.
Okay, go ahead. It's good. We don't have to be perfect. And also, on the island, we have this. I don't know why we call things different. So it could be also called saperoco.
Yes.
Or barraquito, but it's
So this is quite complicated, right?
Yeah, it's very complicated.
A barraquito is kind of the name of the drink.
Yeah.
But in this valley,
Mm-hmm.
the one with alcohol is called the Zaparroco.
Saperoko, yeah.
If you would go anywhere else on the island, you order a barraquito, you would get with alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You said right.
But then I feel like the one without alcohol
Mm-hmm.
that we call barraquito here, anywhere else on the island, you would have to say leche largo, otherwise they don't understand what you want.
Yeah, the coffee thing is a bit complicated in general, man. I never know what a cappuccino is, what espresso. But well, you say asaperoko, but you make sure you need to ask.
But if you say that in the south, they look at you like, "What are you?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean."
Yeah.
So
And
it's
you're
like
like-
it's a barraquito, but with alcohol. They're like, "Yeah, barraquitos with alcohol." And we're like, "No,
Yeah.
not in the north." Yeah.
Yeah, but this is important because then before you have to remind me, we need to talk about the podcast name that I also want to know. Please, 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 your feedback. So you will
Yes.
let us know. I would love to do this below in the comments in the box.
Yes.
We will share the names, like maybe
Some ideas. Okay.
some ideas.
Yeah, we have
and
some ideas
So based on
to
this,
wrap it up.
yeah. Anne, next question, a bit deep. What or who do you miss the most in your current life?
Ooh, wow. Well, it's not really one person, but
Could be what, eh? Would be something.
okay. Well, at this moment, what I probably miss the most is being a part of my nephew's life.
Ah, oh.
So my brother and his fiance, they have a baby, Oliver, and he is almost not. He's a little over 6 months, right? 7 months. He's from September. And yeah, being so far away, of course, you miss out on a lot. So I go there again in June, but then it's been like 8 or 9 months since I've seen him. And I know a lot has changed, and I don't really see them as parents as well, a lot, like how they deal with this and how things develop, and my parents as grandparents, you know, like that's something that I'm just not part of right now as much. Like we call, but I'm not there.
Mhm.
Which, you know, so Oliver is like, if you say who, then it's Oliver maybe, but it's more like the whole situation of like
Do you tell them?
not being part of that part of the family. Not enough, probably.
Bueno, maybe if they listen this,
Yeah.
and I miss it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, I miss right now, I was thinking about all of this. I always thought my reply as well.
Mm.
And I thought what I miss the most is the control of my time. I really miss my time.
Mhm.
And because it's okay, eh?
Yeah.
I take it like it's very okay. But if I really think the other day, I think you went for your own to the beach, and I want to do this, and I know I can do it as well if I ask for it. But then you have the feeling of being guilty a little bit, and I feel a little bit the control of my time.
Yeah.
Sorry, which is okay, but that's
And
what,
it's a lot as well, working almost full time and then having a young family and
yeah, and all those obligations,
house and 3 dogs and all the things, right?
Yeah, 3, not 4. You said 4, no?
No,
I
3.
have
Did I say
3.
4?
Yeah,
I think I said
well,
3. But yeah, it's many dogs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bueno, the last 2 questions.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite guest, Anne? I'm not asking who because I know you. She won't say that, unfortunately. But do you have a favorite guest?
I probably do. I can even share. It's Tessa.
Wow!
Because also Tessa, if you know Tessa, you know her heart is as big as like the world,
Too
right?
many people will get a bit like.
You think? No, I think people will understand. Knowing if you know her,
Yeah.
you know how big her heart is. But also, she's such a big help to me, right? Because when I travel now, she takes care of Lara, and she does it with so much love, and it really allows me to get emotional actually a little bit.
Yeah,
She
she's
really
great.
allows me to, go back into this travel life a little bit after so many years, and I.
She's a good friend.
Feel
as well.
very responsible for Lara, for my dog. And I know people always tell me, she has a good life, don't worry about it so much, but it's just something that's like part of me that I'm always feeling like she needs to have the best life. And when I leave, I feel guilty. But knowing that Tessa takes care of her makes things like 100,000% better, and I leave with so much ease. And when she's at 9, she's such a good influence on the community. She's just like so loving and helpful, you know. So yeah, I mean, anyone else who wants to compete, like who's not happy about that and wants to compete for that spot, then yeah, be well. You know?
Talking about guests, do you think there are some traits, that's how you say, like rasgos de personalidad,
Like
traits,
like traits that are
personality traits on guests that makes the daily life at Nine much better for us, for the host, even though it's not their work.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
they're
Helping with taking dishes out of the drying rack, for example. No, I don't know. I think
what could be
I
like,
think when people feel like they are not just visiting, but Nine is their home, and they are responsible for their home as much as they would be at home themselves. You know, that makes a big difference. And also when people feel responsible, like for their part in the community, right? So they check in with people. You have people that are really good at like noticing when someone is not feeling great, and then bringing them a cup of tea, or as you know, even with us as well, but also with other guests, and making an effort to like be part of this community where you also take care of each other a little bit, and that I think is of course a big game changer, and people really notice that, and we notice that a lot as well. So yeah.
I think I will talk a lot about this in my episodes. Because I think it's really interesting also to see there are many type of people, and most of them are super nice. A little bit, sorry, a few ones are not my favorites, but in general, I really like everyone because I think they bring something positive. But of
do you really have people in mind that you said like, oh, I wish they'd not come back at all?
But very little.
Yeah,
and
right?
It's never
I also
like
feel like hardly
it's not
happens.
like I hate them or I don't. No, it's like they didn't really
fit in that well,
fit,
maybe.
Yeah,
but I also feel like that sometimes is really good for us as well,
it's
as
really
like
good.
a community to adapt to like different type of people, and
it's a learning.
Yeah, it's very very few that I feel like this was really not a match. Better not come back. But I couldn't even think of someone right now.
Yeah, I do. No, no. But I can see how this type of places like the Colivings do like an impact on people's life in us, and also sometimes people come the first time and they are personality trait, and then they come back and they are very different.
We really see them change.
And it's it's really good to talk about.
Who do you feel like has changed the most over time of one of our guests that keeps coming back?
Well, I think you know the reply.
I feel like I have a few in mind, so I do wonder who.
Tell me, but right now, that the first person that I have in my mind, I think it's Moritz.
Yes, but one of them is.
Yeah, I think when he came the first time, and I think we will talk with him if you're interested. But I think so.
Yes, I think this would be a great conversation as well to see his point of view.
I think he changed like the insight, like how he is and how he feels in general. I think he came a bit sad with his life in general. He was not really happy.
Yeah. And also many of the people I think changed a lot came during the pandemic, right? Yeah. So it was also, the question will always be, was it Nine that changed them, or just the situation, or just anything that was happening in the world or in their personal life? So it'll be really interesting conversation to have with Maureen.
I will make a note.
Another person I really feel like has changed so much, and it's such an amazing person to come back, is Pablo.
Pablo, he's
French
great.
Argentinian. If you hear this, we love you. Please come back. And it's so nice to see him now. He came back actually with a partner, and it's such a complete.
Yeah, because also you see the changes on the community. Like I can see how Moritz is a really very nice person also in the community, and how, of course, we all have our things to improve, and so I don't expect you to be perfect, but because I know Moritz for a long time, I know he's a very good human being, and if he doesn't do things perfect, there are no bad intentions, and I think if you talk to him, he can really take it in a positive way.
And I think
I won't say this because I hope Moritz will listen to me. No, but I can see like Moritz for example, I know before his coffee, I was like, I don't even talk to him. And now sometimes even before the coffee, he smiles. I'm like, look at him. So yeah, there are many changes. Well, last question, and I think this is the hardest, but these are the type of things I would also like to bring up, because I think it's very interesting to think about it and to listen what people feel and etc. So my question is for you: what are you doing, or have you done so far, that to have a positive impact on the island, but also what you don't do yet, but you think you can do better?
Okay. I love this question because, yeah, we have talked about as well that this podcast in the beginning will probably be just like, fun conversations, but at some point maybe is also a way for us to kind of start conversations that are a bit more impactful or have like a different agenda behind them, right? And one of the things is the positive impact we can have on other people and on the island, and how we sometimes struggle with that here on the island now that it's becoming really busy with tourists, and the nomad community is part of this. So yeah, the positive impact I feel I have on the island is still like bringing digital nomads here and starting Nine, which starts to become also like a question now that I know that I kind of started this community on the island, and on that a lot of people have built their businesses as well. And now that it's becoming so busy, you would almost start to feel like, ooh, did I start something that I shouldn't have had? But I still think that's not the case. I still think that the people that we bring to the island and the way we bring them here has a very positive impact on the island. So I think the community can really help the local community, and I think we come with a lot of respect for nature and for sustainability and all these things. So I think we bring a type of tourist to the island that is better than what we have some in the hotels, and that's like the fast and the people that maybe don't spend their time with the local community, don't understand the culture, don't see really a lot of nature. So I think that's really something that I could have brought to this island. And I just feel like I've had quite a lot of maybe positive impact on a lot of people that have come through Nine, that have worked at Nine, that were volunteers at Nine, by creating a very open space, I think, where everyone is welcome. I hope people feel this as well, that, like we really are open to anyone who who feels called to come here. And I think a lot of people have changed for the better, or have started to feel better at Nine if they weren't feeling so well, have changed careers, have met up, and now we have a lot of couples. Not all of them survive, obviously, but a lot of them do. Yeah, and we never know. But like, there's a lot of love created here, a lot of companies created
Love
here.
and dramas, everything.
Drama is part of life as well. But yeah, if I look at like, like the couples we formed, but also, for example, some companies that, Constanze and Sarah, who now have their Wanderlust business, and things like that. I think, I'm super happy that I got to be part of that creation. But there's definitely, I always have this feeling I can do more, and not so much in the nomad community, but for
I mean, on the island, what do you think?
Yeah, so for other, like, I feel like I have a really positive influence on people here, but it's like within our bubble a little bit. And obviously, I feel like people that come to Nine are not the people who need the most help with, like they're not the most people in need. They already have like a job, and they're usually quite like come from a background like me, and they have money, and so even though it's nice to have a positive impact on these people, there's people out there who need it way more, right? Like the refugees that come to this island, or people who really, I don't know, have nothing, or animals. I feel like maybe animals is one that I would like to have a bigger impact on, because I feel like on the island, the standards of how animals should be treated is very different than what I would like to see So yeah, and then definitely I feel sometimes like I could do more, and I prioritize other things over like really making that impact. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think there's definitely more to do, and I would love to find a way to do so. But it's also it's not always easy, but
It's not always easy. And
it's also an excuse, because if you make it a priority, then you can, right?
Yeah, and I was also thinking about this, of course, and I thought, well, we are not perfect. And I, for example, I know, and this is also maybe a hard thing to say, knowing our guests, but I'm not vegan, for example, and I know I could be better with the environment and everything if I choose like not to eat meat, for example, because why I eat meat? Because I like meat, and it's very easy for me in my daily life to cook some meat. But also sometimes when I see these documentaries, how animals are treated and everything, I'm like, why I'm eating meat? Like, I know my impact. Same when like, so that's why, like I say, I'm not vegan, but I try to do other things. But of course, we are not.
We cannot do it all.
Exactly. Oh, the same with the clothes. Right now, I'm very aware of what's going on in the world with the
fast fashion.
It's really bad, and I'm really trying.
And then still, we go to Decathlon, and it's really hard not to buy something.
Exactly, right? And I try to buy, but then I go to I don't know. So yeah, but I think it's a good question, right? I'm very proud.
Good question. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's.
But if we narrow it down to this island, because that was your question, and so if we narrow it down more to like this island, because your question was more like the impact on this island, and of course like fast fashion, and it will always have an influence. Yeah, like it will always have an influence on the island as well. But like if you just narrow it down to like the positive impact you would like to have more on the island that you're not like.
Well, this is not fair because I am the one making the questions, but I will.
I think it's a good question as well to ask you. You know,
I think what I'm doing good, or what I can do better.
Both. Like maybe what are you really proud of? The impact you're making. For example, what comes to mind for me is the apartment right now.
Yeah,
which is a beautiful short story maybe to share.
Yeah. Well, I own an apartment, and
where I had to move out of.
Yeah, well, but this is I was a little bit.
And actually, this is the best thing that happened because now I live in such a beautiful place. Yeah.
But yeah, well, I rented to some guys, and they basically they come from Africa, and the problem for them is like they are working and everything, but people sometimes they don't trust on them.
Yeah.
Because
so they came here as refugees, right?
Yeah.
As minors.
Yeah.
And then when they're 18, they have to move out, find a job, and find housing.
Yeah. And they do have a job. They are like you.
Yeah.
The only difference is like they are not Dutch, they are not Italian, they are not from Europe. And then people think like, oh, but you are not someone I can trust on you. I'm struggling a lot to find a place. And a friend of mine, a really good friend, he works in these houses when they are under 18. He told me about their situation, so I offered them the place to stay, but I don't feel like, because they are paying and they are doing everything like as any other person. But yeah, maybe it's a positive impact in terms of I'm giving them just the chance to live in somewhere.
And you're also showing other people, I think, that you know, it's an example for other people that
because they are like, but is the government paying you? Like, no, they are paying me. And they are such a good tenants that they are super responsible. They pay last day of the month, like they are very punctual. Anything that happens, they tell me. Super nice. They even invited me to have a lunch, an African meal. They got me, they invited me, they cook for me because they were thankful. I was like, guys, you're paying a rent. It's not like
you don't owe me anything.
Exactly. But yeah, that's a positive impact. And I also feel like where there are many things happening on the island right now, there is this feeling, as you said, like I've seen like tourists go home, everything. And I feel it's no tourists go home. We don't really want that. We are always very happy to welcome people, but it's the way of doing things. And I think what I'm also doing a little bit positive is trying to bring this awareness here and with you, with the people I meet at Nine, because I do feel like Nine is really doing like the way we are doing things very good and positive on the island, that many people don't understand or don't see it, because this is a new concept also for locals. So that's something I am trying to have a positive impact on the island. And what do I don't do? I think I could do it better.
Or not? What's like a positive impact you would like to have more, right? That you just don't have the time, or you just don't do it for whatever reason.
No, I don't know. I'm perfect. No, I don't know. I don't know right now. I don't know. I don't know. I need to think about it, and maybe I reply in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. And then let's finish the podcast. I hope you are enjoying. Are you enjoying?
I really love it. Yes.
I'm very happy. I hope the audio is good, the camera is good.
Yes.
That I look good, because
we have Brie here behind the camera, so we hope that
Brie,
the technician.
Vale, I'm glad. Okay, I learned this new concept: 9 rapid fire.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Rapid fire, yes.
Annie, apple or chocolate pie?
Chocolate pie.
Okay. Lara or Peachy?
Lara.
Okay, hard one. Mom or dad? Mom or dad?
Mom.
Okay. Ooh, let's continue so they forget. Surfing or hike?
Surf.
Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Head or feet massage?
Head massage.
Good boobs or good butts?
Butt.
Tattoo or piercing?
Tattoo.
iPhone or Android?
Android.
Oh, okay, it's done.
Nice. I love them. Really good.
Thank you.
I have mom and dad. That's like,
yeah, I know. I'm
girl, sorry, dad.
I know, because I know you love the two of them.
Yeah,
I know.
there's no.
I know it. She really loves all of you. I know, but I was like, this is. I have to ask.
Yeah.
So if you have to choose which word die before, oh my god.
No, this is not about dying. No. It's not choose.
It's choosing like how your dad will understand. Gara will also choose me. I know, so that's okay. Annie, we're done. We only need 2 things to be done. Ranking the first episode, I think it's quite good. From 1, like it's a shit, no one will
listen to it.
Last until the end, or a 10, it has a succeed. I think I will have an infinity pool one day, because we will become famous.
I have to say, or you're going?
No,
to
you have
rank?
You have to rank.
I would give it a solid 8.
Very good. I also feel it. Yeah.
And
let's
see if that's. But I think especially for a first conversation, and I think. I just think
and I have to
quite
say,
good. I hope people agree.
You proposed me this a week ago. I was like, and it was like, no, let's do it next week.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. We've been talking about the podcast for a long time.
Yeah.
It was just like last week. I was like, let's just plan.
Yeah.
And do it. And if it's shit, we just don't post it.
This is something you do. I don't never do. Like, honest, like, let's give a try.
Always just start, and then you see.
And last thing, and then we finish. Based on this thing we have done, let's call it podcast. What's the name then?
Oh yeah.
Barraquito with Silvia, and then I always have a barraquito, and of course the gift, whatever, like cakes, flowers, whatever you want to bring, it's gonna be welcome. Barraquito with Silvia or
Unfiltered with Silvia.
I think that's a good one as well.
Also nice. I thought also just like conversations at 9. But I do like it if your name is in there, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe people have some suggestions on what this podcast should be called. And we can ask on Instagram or something, and people can give some suggestions. And then in the next episode, we will reveal the official name.
And this is going to be super like influencer. I don't do. I am the anti-influencer. Please share your comments. If you like it,
like and subscribe.
Leave your comment on the box here. And what else?
We don't know where we're going to post this yet. Probably Spotify, right? And maybe in a newsletter.
Yeah.
If the video works out okay, maybe we'll have it on YouTube. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but please say beautiful things. I don't want haters. Haters, go home.
5 stars are preferable.
Yes. And if you like, I promise very, very hot questions will come, and topics and surprises and everything, no?
Yeah.
Okay, say hi. Hi, no, goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening.
Well done.
Was good, no?
Very good.
Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more unfiltered conversations. If you like this episode, make sure you give us a 5-star review and follow us on social media for more.